Have you ever woken up and felt that something inside you isn't working the way it used to? The mornings feel weaker. The firmness that once came naturally is fading, and deep down, you wonder if this is the beginning of losing control over your body. For men over 50, this silent decline isn't just frustrating, it's a warning sign. Left unchecked, it can snowball into poor circulation, prostate trouble, bladder issues, even deeper health risks that strip away confidence and intimacy, piece by piece. I've seen this countless times in my patients' men who sit across from me with quiet embarrassment, convinced that age has taken away their strength for good. But what they don't realize at first is that the body still holds remarkable power to recover if you know where to unlock it. And the truth is, it doesn't take a prescription or a complicated routine. It takes 1 minute. Just 1 minute each day, focused on a hidden point in the body that can dramatically improve blood flow, restore control, and awaken vitality. Stay with me, because in a moment, I'll not only show you exactly how to find this point and use it safely, but I'll also reveal the single mistake that causes most men to fail. And once you hear it, you'll never think of your mornings the same way again. Every week in my clinic, men over 50 sit across from me, lowering their voices as if their struggles are a secret. They say things like, "Doctor, my mornings feel empty," or "I just don't feel like the man I used to be." And while they often smile nervously, I can see the fear behind their eyes. For them, it starts with something small, less energy, a softer erection, waking up at night to use the bathroom more often. But science tells us these aren't random inconveniences, they're early warning signs. Studies show that men over 50 who experience these subtle changes are up to 40% more likely to face long-term prostate problems or even cardiovascular issues if nothing is done. The problem is that most men don't connect the dots. They think it's just age. But what I remind them is this: your body is like a highway. When traffic flows smoothly, everything moves without delay. But once the road narrows or clogs cars back up, signals get confused, and before long, the entire system suffers. That's what happens when circulation and nerve signals in the pelvic region slow down. Erections weaken, bladder control slips, and confidence quietly disappears. Now, here's where it gets critical. If ignored, these quiet signals grow louder. Relationships strain, intimacy fades, and the man sitting in front of me starts to believe he's lost forever what once defined him. But here's the truth I've seen in countless patients: decline is not destiny. The same body that struggles can also heal if you know where to start. And that's exactly where we're headed next, because hidden inside the body lies a small, overlooked point that acts almost like a switch. Stimulate it correctly, and you can change the entire flow of energy and blood through this vital area. Most men have no idea it exists, and missing it is the biggest mistake of all. When I tell my patients that the body has a hidden switch, their eyes widen in disbelief. After years of struggling, they don't expect the answer to be something so simple, so close, and yet so overlooked. But science and centuries of practice both point to the same truth. Buried between the base of the scrotum and the anus lies a small area known in traditional Chinese medicine as Hui Yin, or Ren 1. Ancient texts called it the $1 million point because it was believed to hold the key to vitality, sexual strength, and even longevity. Modern medicine now understands why. This tiny zone is packed with nerves and blood vessels that directly influence the pelvic floor erectile function and even bladder control. Think of it like a power outlet in your house. You might not notice it every day, but when the current flows through it, the entire system lights up, stimulating. Hui Yin improves blood circulation, relaxes the crucial pelvic muscles and activates nerve pathways that have been slowing down with age. I've had patients who, after learning about this point, told me it felt like discovering a missing piece of themselves, something their body had been waiting for them to unlock. Research backs this up. Studies on pelvic floor therapy show that consistent stimulation of those deep muscles can significantly improve erectile quality and urinary control. And here's what makes it so powerful. It doesn't require drug surgery or expensive devices, just your own hand a few minutes and consistency. But here's where most men go wrong. Knowing about Hui Yin is one thing. Finding it and using it correctly is another. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you next, how to locate this point with absolute precision and why the way you approach it makes all the difference between failure and results. Now that you know about Hui Yin, the million-dollar point, the natural next question my patients always ask is, Doctor, how do I actually find it? And the answer is simpler than you think. To locate this spot, sit comfortably and gently feel the area between the base of the scrotum and the anus. In the center of that soft zone, just about an inch forward from the anus, you'll notice a small hollow. That's it, the hidden switch your body has been carrying all along. When teaching this, I often compare it to finding the reset button on a device. Tiny, almost invisible, but once pressed, it changes the entire system. For Hui Yin, the activation happens through gentle, circular massage with your index or middle finger. Pressing too hard doesn't make it better. In fact, it can irritate sensitive nerves. Instead, light but consistent pressure is what sparks better circulation and muscle relaxation. Research on pelvic floor therapy confirms this low-intensity repeated stimulation improves outcomes far more than heavy-handed force. To make it practical, I recommend sitting on a soft towel or even soaking in warm water before beginning. Warmth helps relax the surrounding muscles, giving you easier access. Once you're comfortable, apply gentle pressure for about 10 seconds, release for 5, and repeat 3 times. Many men tell me that once they learn this rhythm, it feels almost like their body is sighing in relief, as if long neglected muscles are finally being acknowledged. But here's the part that surprises most men: using just your finger can help. But there's a way to take this technique from good to great. Adding a natural aid turns a simple massage into a much more powerful ritual, and that's what I'm going to reveal next. Every time I explain Hui Yin to a new patient, I see the same skeptical look on their face. How could something so small, hidden in a place most men never even think about, make such a difference? But once they commit, the changes they report are hard to ignore. Gentle, consistent stimulation of this point improves blood circulation throughout the pelvic region, which is critical because erections aren't just about hormones, they're about healthy blood flow. If the arteries that feed this area are sluggish, firmness fades. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine confirmed that pelvic floor activation improves erectile function by up to 33% in men over 50. That's not hype, that's science. The benefits don't stop there. Activating Hui Yin relaxes the pelvic floor muscles, the very muscles that not only support erections, but also control bladder function. I've had men who struggled with nighttime bathroom trips tell me that after a few weeks, they notice better control and deeper, uninterrupted sleep. And then there's nerve activation. This point is rich with pudendal nerve endings, and stimulating it helps wake up signals that keep sexual response sharp and reliable. Think of it like dusting off old wiring in a house. Once the current flows freely again, the lights don't just turn on, they shine brighter. But perhaps the most powerful effect isn't just physical, it's psychological. When a man feels his body responding, again, when he wakes up with a firmness he thought was gone forever, confidence returns. And confidence, as I remind my patients, is the spark that reignites intimacy and connection. Still, there's a crucial warning I give. Every man, at this point, benefits only appear if the technique is done correctly, and most men unknowingly sabotage themselves. That's why before I show you how to supercharge this massage with a natural aid, I need to reveal the biggest mistake that ruins it for so many. By now, you can see why Huiyin is so powerful, but here's where most men stumble. They learn the technique, get excited, and then either do it wrong or give up too quickly. The number one mistake I see is pressure. Too many men assume that harder is better, that pressing deeply or aggressively will unlock results faster, but that's not how the body works. This area is delicate, filled with sensitive nerves and blood vessels. When you push too hard, instead of boosting circulation, you irritate tissue and create resistance. Gentle consistency always outperforms brute force. The second mistake is inconsistency. I can't tell you how many patients tell me I tried it twice, but nothing changed. And I remind them, you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect a six-pack, right? The body responds to repetition. A 2020 clinical trial on pelvic floor therapy showed significant improvement only after men practiced daily stimulation for at least 3 weeks. Results don't come overnight, but they do come when you build the habit. The third mistake is treating this as a quick fix instead of a ritual. When men rush, distracted, or half-committed, they miss out on the relaxation and breathing that make the technique so effective. This isn't just about mechanics. It's about signaling your body to restore balance. Think of it as a 1-minute investment with compounding returns. And here's where it gets interesting. While finger massage alone can create change, there's a natural way to supercharge the effect one that not only makes the process smoother, but also taps into anti-inflammatory circulation boosting properties. It's simple, affordable, and sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now. Let me show you how to use it. After watching men struggle with the mistakes I just described, I began recommending something simple to transform this technique from good to remarkable: adding castor oil. Most people know castor oil as an old household remedy, but few realize how powerful it is when applied here. It penetrates deeply into tissues, reduces inflammation, and provides a smooth glide that prevents irritation during massage. This isn't just tradition. Studies have shown that topical castor oil increases local circulation and supports muscle relaxation. In my clinic, patients who combine the Huiyin massage with castor oil often told me the difference was dramatic. One man in his 60s described it this way: before it felt like rubbing dry skin. With the oil, it felt like the area finally opened up. That's because oil allows consistent, gentle motion without friction, while also delivering anti-inflammatory compounds directly into the skin. It turns a 1-minute exercise into a calming ritual, something men can actually look forward to. To use it, place just 2 or 3 drops of pure, cold-pressed castor oil on your fingertip. Always test it on a small patch of skin first to check for sensitivity. If there are open wounds, hemorrhoids, or infections, wait until those heal. Safety comes first. But when done correctly, this simple addition elevates the massage, supporting better blood flow, softer pelvic muscles, and deeper relaxation. And here's the exciting part. When combined with proper breathing and consistency, this becomes more than a trick. It becomes a system. In fact, I call it the $1 million minute flow, a simple 1-minute routine. I'll walk you through step by step so you never waste effort or guesswork again. At this point, you know the science, the point, and the secret ingredient. Now let me put it all together for you in what I call the $1 million minute flow. This is the exact 1-minute routine I teach my patients, designed to maximize benefits without confusion. It's short, simple, and powerful. First, preparation. Find a quiet, private space where you feel comfortable. Sit or lie down in a relaxed position and make sure your hands are clean. Place 2 or 3 drops of pure castor oil on your index or middle finger. Take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment of calm. This isn't something to rush. Second, locate the Hui Yin point, that small hollow between the scrotum and the anus. Gently place your lubricated finger on it. Third, begin the massage. Use slow, circular motions with light pressure. Remember, the goal is stimulation, not force. As you do this, focus on deep breathing, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 2, and exhaling for 6. This breathing pattern activates your nervous system, allowing blood flow and energy to move freely. Fourth, continue this process for 60 seconds. That's it, just 1 minute. The key is consistency. Performed daily, ideally before bed or right after waking. This routine compounds over time, delivering stronger circulation, more relaxed muscles, and steadier nerve signals. It's not about doing more, it's about doing it regularly and correctly. Now, here's where it gets even more inspiring. I had a patient named David, 68 years old, who was convinced his best days were behind him. After committing to this 1-minute flow for a month, what he reported back to me was astonishing. And his story might be the proof you need to believe that this really works. I'll never forget David, a 68-year-old patient who came to me looking defeated. He sat down in my office and said, "Doctor, I think my sex life is over. I've tried the pills, the supplements, the exercises. Nothing seems to work." His words carried the weight of resignation, the kind that makes a man feel smaller than his age should ever make him feel. I introduced him to the $1 million minute flow. At first, he was skeptical. He laughed and said, "You really think 1 minute can change all this?" But he trusted me enough to try. For the next 30 days, he committed just 1 minute before bed every single night with castor oil and deep breathing. When he returned a month later, his face was transformed. He told me he was waking up firmer more often, and for the first time in years, he felt confident walking into the bedroom. But what struck me most wasn't just his physical improvement, it was the emotional shift. He stood taller, smiled wider, and said, "I feel like I have myself back." Science explains this consistent pelvic floor activation can strengthen erectile function and reduce urinary symptoms in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. But hearing it from a man who thought he was finished, that's powerful proof. Now, not every patient sees the exact same results as quickly as David, but his story shows what's possible when you stick with it. And that's why I encourage all my patients to take it one step further. Don't just do the routine, track it. Because when you measure your progress, you'll know exactly how your body is responding. One thing I always tell my patients is this: don't leave your progress up to guesswork. When you're trying something new, especially something as subtle as a 1-minute massage, it's easy to miss small but important changes. That's why I ask every man to track his results for at least 2 weeks. The process is simple but eye-opening. Each morning, write down a quick score from 1 to 10 for your morning vitality, basically how firm, energized, and responsive you feel when you wake up. At first, the numbers may hover in the same range, but as the days go by, small improvements begin to add up. One patient told me he started at a 4, but by day 12, he was consistently at a 7. He hadn't even realized the shift until he saw it on paper. That's the power of tracking. It makes invisible progress visible, and it gives you the motivation to keep going. You can also jot down notes on sleep quality, mood, and bathroom habits, because All of these are linked to pelvic floor function. And here's the critical part. If after 14 days you see no change at all, that's a signal. It doesn't mean the technique has failed. It means your body may be pointing to a deeper issue like circulation problems or hormonal imbalance, and that's the moment to see your doctor for further evaluation. By treating tracking as part of the process, you not only measure results, you protect your long-term health. Now that you know how to monitor progress, let me leave you with a bigger message, because this isn't just about a 1-minute massage. It's about reclaiming control, confidence, and the sense of being truly alive again. Gentlemen, you've just learned how a single hidden point in your body can restore circulation, relax key muscles, and reignite vitality in just 1 minute a day. From David's story to the science of pelvic floor activation, the message is clear: decline with age is not destiny. Your body still carries the power to heal, and when you take small, consistent steps, transformation is possible. I want you to remember this: caring for your sexual health isn't just about performance, it's about confidence, connection, and quality of life. And you don't have to walk this journey alone. By practicing the $1 Million Minute Flow, tracking your results, and seeking medical guidance when needed, you're taking back control of your health and your future. If this message spoke to you, don't let it fade away. Save this video so you can return to the routine whenever you need it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because every week I share science-backed practical strategies to help men protect their prostate, improve vitality, and stay strong as they age. And now I want to hear from you. What's the first step you'll take tonight to start this journey? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's build a community that supports every man's health and confidence.